Trump's Homeland Security just forced CBS News to completely restructure how they conduct interviews, and journalists across America are panicking. This unprecedented government intimidation of free press represents a direct assault on the First Amendment and American democracy. Trump's mental deterioration is becoming impossible to ignore as he devolves into incoherent rambling when asked basic policy questions.
Pete doesn't want any part of that question. Yes, please.
Mr. President, who do you blame for losing India to China? In your post earlier today in the morning, you did put that out.
I don't think we have. I've been very disappointed that India would be buying so much oil, as you know, from Russia. And I let them know that. We put a very big tariff on India, 50% tariff, very high tariff. I get along very well with Modi, as you know. He's great. He was here a couple of months ago. In fact, we went to the Rose Garden, and the grass was so soaking wet. It was such a terrible place to have a news conference. I said, well, let's use a beautiful white stone emblematic of the White House, okay? And it's been very well received. But we had a news conference on the grass. That was my last news conference I had on the grass because everybody sunk in. You probably sunk in. Every reporter out there, they ruined their shoes. We made that change. It's been a really well-received change. Yeah, please go.
Between nonsensical ramblings about wet grass and ruined shoes, Trump manages to make wildly optimistic economic predictions.
5 months, all these slew of events next year. World Cup, G20, all America 250. Given this, what's your economic outlook for the year 2026? How much growth do you think is reasonable for us to expect economically next year?
Well, I heard, and we were on a very downward path with Biden, and I heard that the most we could do is 1% GDP, and now I'm hearing 3.2% and 3.5% and all. And our big year won't be really next year. I think it'll be the year after, because when these plants start opening up, it takes a period of time to build them. We're going to have tremendous job growth. It's unprecedented. We have unprecedented in history. There's never been anything like it, because we're going to have more than $17 trillion invested. There's never been anything like that. If we did $1 trillion in 1 year, and this is 6 months, 7 months, because we really focused on it over the last 6 months.
Now Trump's authoritarian assault on press freedom has reached crisis levels. CBS News faces a firestorm after Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's department publicly pressured the network over edited interview content. The network initially defended standard editorial practices, explaining the edit was for time constraints, with the full interview available online. But critics argue CBS actually cut defamatory remarks about a migrant that could have exposed them to serious legal liability. Under normal circumstances, this would remain an internal editorial decision. However, Trump's Department of Homeland Security publicly accused CBS of cutting more than 23% of Noem's comments and demanded transparency in an unprecedented government intimidation campaign. The pressure worked, devastatingly. Within days, CBS announced a sweeping policy change. Face the Nation will now only air live, unedited interviews with minimal exceptions. Journalists recognize this capitulation as submission rather than transparency. They're witnessing a dangerous precedent where government officials can strong-arm networks into compliance through public pressure campaigns. The financial leverage makes resistance nearly impossible. Paramount, CBS's parent company, paid President Trump $16 million to settle complaints about a Kamala Harris interview, coinciding with the administration weighing approval of Paramount's $8 billion sale to Skydance. This represents systematic destruction of press independence through government intimidation and financial coercion. When Homeland Security can dictate how news networks conduct interviews, the First Amendment becomes meaningless. The economic implications are staggering. Media corporations face impossible choices: resist government pressure and risk regulatory retaliation, or submit and lose editorial credibility. Trump's leverage over corporate mergers creates financial weapons against press freedom. Journalists are openly panicking because they recognize this moment's historical significance. If outlets cave to political intimidation, investigative reporting dies while editorial independence disappears entirely. The precedent is terrifying. Government agencies can now publicly pressure networks to change fundamental editorial practices through coordinated campaigns combining regulatory threats with financial leverage. CBS's capitulation sends a chilling message to every news organization. Challenge this administration and face coordinated government retaliation that could destroy your business model. Media watchdogs warn that this intimidation campaign will make networks hesitate before airing anything that might anger Homeland Security or the president. Self-censorship becomes inevitable when government retaliation threatens corporate survival. Trump's $16 million settlement with Paramount, while controlling their merger approval, demonstrates how presidential power can be weaponized against media corporations. When regulatory approval depends on favorable coverage, journalism becomes propaganda. The transformation of Face the Nation from edited journalism to live-only broadcasts show how government pressure fundamentally alters news gathering. Editorial judgment gets replaced by fear of official retaliation. This isn't just about one interview or one network. It's about whether American journalism can survive systematic government intimidation designed to ensure favorable coverage through financial coercion. Will other networks resist this intimidation or follow CBS's capitulation? Can press freedom survive when government agencies can destroy media companies through regulatory retaliation? Share your thoughts below. Subscribe for more press freedom coverage and hit that notification bell because this assault on journalism threatens every American's right to independent information.